All right, let's just get right into it. Welcome to this explainer. Now, let's be totally honest for a second. You probably didn't grow up dreaming of a career in insurance software, right? But today, we are taking a really close look at a highly specialized, incredibly lucrative niche in enterprise tech that might actually change your mind. If you're looking for a completely future-proof IT career that hardly anyone outside the industry bubble is talking about, you are absolutely in the right place. So here's a question for you to kick things off. What actually powers the world's biggest insurance companies? Think about it. When millions of people buy policies, file claims for car accidents, or, pay their monthly premiums, what keeps that massive, insanely complex system from just completely breaking down? It's a great question, and the answer is basically the hidden tech engine of the global economy. And that engine, it's Guidewire. Simply put, it's the digital backbone platform designed specifically for property and casualty, or PNC, insurers to manage their core operations. Look, instead of building these messy, fragile systems from scratch, insurers use Guidewire to prevent absolute chaos. It essentially acts as the digital nervous system for these massive companies, quietly keeping everything running smoothly behind the scenes, from customer data right down to financial transactions. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover meet the insurance backbone, the big three centers, GoSu and the cloud, high demand, high salaries, and finally, your learning roadmap. Let's hit it. Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1, meet the insurance backbone, the foundation of P&C insurance. So Guidewire is built in these brilliantly organized layers, which is exactly how it prevents that total chaos we talked about. At the very top, you've got the presentation layer, which uses PCF files to build out the user's screens. When a user clicks a button there, it instantly triggers the business layer, which runs on GoSu logic to enforce all the tricky insurance rules. That data then flows down to the data layer, safely storing policies and accounts in database tables. Meanwhile, the integration layer connects all of this to the outside world through APIs, and the batch layer is just quietly chugging along overnight, handling massive volumes of scheduled background work. It is a perfectly structured digital control center. Moving right along, let's see how this builds out practically. Part 2, the big three centers, inside the InsuranceSuite. Inside the Guidewire InsuranceSuite, you have 3 core modules that basically run the entire insurance lifecycle. It all starts over in PolicyCenter, where policies are born. It handles quotes, underwriting, issuance, the whole 9 yards, including renewals. But if an accident happens, ClaimCenter immediately takes the wheel. It manages that very first report of an incident, sets aside the estimated money in reserves, and handles the final claim settlement. And finally, you have BillingCenter, making sure the money flows correctly across the board, managing invoices, delinquency, and refunds. It just seamlessly takes a customer all the way from buying a policy to getting paid for a loss. Now that we know what it does, let's look at how it's actually built. Part 3, GoSu and the cloud, the technical engine under the hood. So what will you actually be building with on a daily basis? Guidewire uses its own custom programming language called GoSu. Now, it runs on the Java virtual machine, which gives you rock-solid stability, but it cleverly strips away all of Java's overly complex generic syntax and boilerplate code. Instead, GoSu lets developers efficiently write logic that perfectly mirrors real-world insurance scenarios. It's incredibly practical and honestly surprisingly beginner-friendly. But hey, the tech stack definitely doesn't stop at GoSu. The entire insurance industry is basically abandoning their clunky on-premise legacy systems for the Guidewire cloud. And this means working with a modern SaaS delivery model, utilizing Kubernetes for orchestration, Docker for containerization, and fully automated CI/CD pipelines. Mastering these specific modern DevOps tools alongside Guidewire, that won't just make you a developer, it's going to put you at the absolute top of literally every hiring manager's wish list. Which brings us to the most anticipated part of our explainer, Part 4, high demand, high salaries, the career payoff. I want to read this quote directly from our sources because it frames the opportunity here perfectly. Quote, "The premium exists because supply is limited. Few developers have deep Guidewire experience, so those who do command strong packages." Think about that. This is essentially a future-proof cheat code for your IT career. The severe scarcity of Guidewire talent in the market means that if you have these skills, you hold all the leverage. And the demand is truly global. Titans of tech, consulting, I'm talking Accenture, Cognizant, Capgemini, Infosys, Deloitte, they are constantly winning these massive delivery contracts as insurers upgrade their systems. To actually deliver on those multi-million-dollar projects, they desperately need configuration developers, integration specialists, and cloud talent, meaning They are virtually always hiring just to keep up with the global demand. Let's talk return on investment. Looking specifically at the Indian market as an example, the trajectory is absolutely exhilarating. A fresher with 0 to 2 years of experience can expect around 550,000 rupees. But stick with it for just 3 to 5 years, and that more than doubles to over 1.1 million. And if you master this and hit the architect level with 10 plus years of experience, you are looking at a package of 4 million rupees or more. Because this niche is so specialized, the financial reward for expertise is staggering. So, the crucial point is, how do you actually get there? Part 5, your learning roadmap, step-by-step to mastery. Let's put all of this into action. Your roadmap has 4 totally achievable milestones. First, you must master the insurance basics, because let's face it, tech without domain context is pretty useless. Once you know the industry, step 2 is learning the big 3 centers: policy, claim, and billing. Step 3 is where you roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, writing logic with Gosu and building REST and SOAP API integrations. And finally, step 4 is tackling the cloud, DevOps, and real project implementations. And remember, if you already have a background in Java, QA, or business analysis, you aren't starting from scratch. You're basically just pivoting into a much, much higher paying lane. We've covered the architecture, the technology, and the incredible career trajectory. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Are you ready to become the exact talent this trillion-dollar insurance industry is desperately searching for? The path is clear, the demand is incredibly real, and your future in Guidewire starts with that very first step